Previously on the changing faces of Aotearoa, we explored the impact immigration has on the country and discovered that some of the issues may not be as detrimental as once thought. This episode will explore the future of immigration in New Zealand as we investigate the cultural landscape in years to come and establish what the country can do to ensure immigration continues to thrive as part of its history and its future. This is the changing faces of Aotearoa. It's a Monday evening in Christchurch, but for 195 migrants, it isn't just your typical Monday.
I, Andrew David Turner, of Christchurch, New Zealand,
They're taking part in a ceremony which will see them granted citizenship into New Zealand.
I will faithfully observe the laws of New Zealand and fulfil my duties as a New Zealand citizen.
People from more than 30 different countries are being welcomed into New Zealand as some of the country's newest citizens. New Zealand's overall diversity continues to grow as new cultures and ethnicities call this small island nation their home. In fact, the cultural landscape will almost be unrecognisable in years to come. In the last census, over 3.3 million people who lived in New Zealand identified with European, while just over 1.6 million identified with Māori, Asian, Middle Eastern, Latin American or Pacifica. Fast forward 20 years and the change is immense, as the number of Europeans living in New Zealand is projected to increase by approximately 300,000. The number of people identifying with other nationalities is set to skyrocket by up to 1.76 million. So with this enormous population growth looming, what are the government and opposition planning to do about it? Labour's strategy is to invest in housing, infrastructure, public services, and in training New Zealanders to fill skill shortages, while taking a breather on immigration. These changes are estimated to reduce net migration by 20 to 30,000. So while this is great for the housing crisis and strain on infrastructure, the question remains, will there be enough workers to fill the high volumes of jobs around the country? On the other hand, national strategy has been to maintain immigration numbers, but raise the standard required to gain residency. This is to ensure the right balance between attracting skilled workers and managing demand in a period of strong growth and low unemployment. However, with this high volume of people entering the country to live, how would they deal with the demand on housing and infrastructure? Speaking to a number of immigration experts throughout the series, we asked them what they think needs to be done to ensure the stability of immigration in the future.
It would be better if immigration policy weren't so constrained by what's going on in Auckland, because there are plenty of regions that would love to be able to attract more migrants. If you look at some of the depopulated rural places, they'd really like to be able to attract more migrants, but overall immigration policy winds up being very responsive to concerns in Auckland because that's where most migrants do wind up.
One key solution involved regionalising migration flows, and there's one council who's dedicated to this and to ensuring its newest residents feel welcome. Connecting Communities coordinator Tyler Harrison Hunt's aim is to welcome newcomers and migrants to the community through a Show Me Selwyn bus tour.
The thing that I really wanted to focus on was to make sure that people did feel welcome, because nothing's more uncomfortable than feeling like you're out of place, particularly in a place that you live in. So in order to get people out, to meet people, get to meet their neighbours, I thought it was really productive.
The bus tour explores the wider Selwyn region, stopping at landmarks and teaching us about the history of the district.
Different varieties of rhododendron here.
The big thing with the council is you just need to understand and ensure that you're giving the residents of Selwyn what they want. And it is a great initiative for them to be able to, first of all, get out of their comfort zone, but in a nice, comfortable setting.
increased migrant representation on councils is another matter which should be considered. We spoke to City Councillor Jimmy Chen, who thinks the number of migrants should be reflective of the population.
Migrant, as you are aware, in Mormon Christchurch, they are roughly about a quarter, 25% the migrant from the overseas currently. So the number of councillors is, to me, I thought is relatively low.
And they're already working on a number of new initiatives.
Also staff who had multicultural awareness training, because different people from different countries, they might have a different culture. Another one is some councils document. For instance, recently we have civil defense, emergency management. That actually is very important for everyone, because that's in relation to our life, tsunami, earthquake, or bushfire, Port Hill fire, etc. So we have not only in English version, but we have translated in 9 different key language.
And he says the important thing is that they feel a sense of belonging, and that we understand just how important it is for these new Kiwis, after years of hard work, to achieve citizenship.
Pretty proud moment, alright. Certainly feels a little bit different, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Support the All Blacks now. Don't support Ireland anymore, and I'm a citizen with her, so it's pretty cool.
It's fantastic. I've lived here for 10 years, but to actually finally become a citizen of New Zealand, it's a great feeling, and I'm really excited for what the future will hold.
I've been waiting for so long, so now it's just like happening, and there's just so much here, so this feels like home.
Feels really good. I can't even imagine the opportunities. I could probably buy a piece of land that's only available to Kiwis. I could start a business. Who knows? I might even run for Prime Minister. So it feels really awesome.
Throughout the series, we have explored the current immigration status in New Zealand and analysed the numbers. We've met the people who call the country home, gaining insight into their unique cultures and traditions. We've investigated the impacts of immigration, and finally, we've looked at the future. While the public perception in the past has been that the doors to New Zealand are wide open, we've learnt that it's a lot more complicated than that. The majority of people being granted visas are highly skilled individuals with a lot to offer the country. So perhaps it's time to stop looking at immigration from the perspective that we're doing them a favour, and start looking at it from the perspective that they're doing us a favour as well. Because we should be proud that multiculturalism and diversity is part of our national identity.
First fire in the winter, first leaf in the spring. You gotta count for something, to be part of something when you go. Living on dreams, living on dreams.
This has been The Changing Faces of Aotearoa.
Living on dreams, living on dreams.